Few case studies here, just to show you that it ain't just me. You know, the strategies work, the tips work, you know, so these guys are obviously on my mentor program and they, you know, are getting success. So, you know, as you can see, but basically they discovered how. Both of them had no idea about service accommodation at the start. You know, but they discovered how. I taught them how, I showed them the basics, and got them to understand the strategies, told them what properties to go out and find, and they went and found them, you know. They took the action, they went out, they spoke to the landlords, they rented the properties, and they got them over the line. And then they created the consistency in what they're doing, and they repeated the model over and over and over again, and they continue to build the properties up and up and up and up, and obviously that builds the cash flow up and up and up. And as you can see, here's the results. You know, so you know, got one there which is you know, 1,520 quid for 4 weeks. You know, another booking for 10 days in August, so fully booked until the 19th of August. You know, and then we've got Richard here. You know, they're up 7.5 grand worth of bookings so far. That was for 10 weeks, I believe. That was for 10 weeks worth of bookings, 7.5 grand. I actually spoke to him the other day, and he's got another 4 grand booked in for this month. You know, on a two bed little tourist house. You know, it's honestly, it's mind blowing the figures that come through these properties when you do the right. You know, but you've just got to understand how to do it, how to take the action, how to create the consistency and make sure you run them properly, and then obviously the result takes care of itself. So, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Just drop in the chat, who's read this book? Yes, yes, no, 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 yes, no, yes. Okay. So, great book. If you haven't read it, go and read it. But I just want to touch base on the idea of the book is that a rich man will always invest in something that'll make more money. A broke man will always spend his money or invest his money in a liability. Cars, nights out, movies, whatever, you know. But a rich man will always be buying assets, and they try to buy assets in different types so that they can create multiple streams of revenue. So that's kind of the ethos of the book. And the kind of what I'm trying to come on to here is, I say this time and time again, that people would quite happily go and spend. I'll give you an example. I went and spent £60 last night in Pizza Express with the kids. So I'll think nothing of going to Pizza Express and spending £60. Yet I might see, I might scroll on Facebook and see a sponsored ad for, I don't know, a new marketing sort of technique or whatever it might be, and it gets my interest, so I click through, and it's £14 or it's you know, £15, 14, whatever, 20 quid, let's call it. And I hesitate. And I'm like, 20 quid. 20. Think nothing on Pizza Express and spend 60 quid. But 20 quid. So I'll dig a bit deeper and do I trust this guy? Does he look like he knows what he's talking about? It doesn't sound like something that I'll get value from, you know, but I hesitate on spending 20 quid on investing in myself to get myself further, move my business further forward, you know. And too many people don't see themselves as an asset. You know, you should be investing in yourself because you're an asset. You should. The more you invest in yourself, the more you're going to make yourself go forward. Like, there'll be quite a few people who haven't read this book because they didn't want to pay whatever it is, $9.99 or $19.99 for it. You know, there could be one thing in that book that's going to change your mindset and change your life. You know, so 20 quid, that's fine. Yet you'll get a Deliveroo, or you'll go to the movies, or you'll get buy a load of music, whatever. You know, at the drop of a hat without even thinking about it, but you won't invest in yourself, you know, and until you change that mindset and you start investing in yourself, then you will struggle to move forward. I was, as I said earlier, learning the hard way. Then I invested in a sales mentorship with Grant Cardone. I then invested in a marketing mentorship. I then invested in another marketing mentorship. And I would say, including all the PDFs, books, training programs, video programs, mentorships, I'm probably into I would say 30, 35 grand's worth of investment now. Notice I use the word investment into myself. I've also spent probably, about 2016, I spent 5 grand on a personal development mentorship as well. So you total that up, we're in 40 grand. So I've spent 40 grand on myself over the last, say, 4 years, 10 grand a year. All right. Now, you know, that's what, 833 quid a month. Does that sound expensive? Does that sound expensive? Drop it in the chat. Does that sound expensive? Yes. No. Wow. I need to spend more. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. So there's a mixed vibe there, you know, but you know, if I was to probably up my bank balance or show you my net equity in my properties, or show you what my portfolio looks like behind the scenes, 40 grand is a drop in the ocean. You know, and I have had that back 10 times over, and I will continue to 10x that. And you know, that for me is investment. You know, that is an ROI that no one else can give you, and you know, worth every single penny. So if you are stuck in that situation, maybe just have a think about it, change your mindset, invest in yourself, and you know, just think about what you spend your disposable income on, and then could you just save a bit of that and invest it in yourself. You know, it's a game changer. It is a game changer. So far, let's just take a little time out. Would you agree it's time well spent so far? I hope I'm delivering some value to you guys here. I hope you're moving forward. Obviously, I can't cover everything today in an hour's webinar. You know, even if we did it all day, still can't cover everything around serviced accommodation and how it all pieces together. There's a lot of moving parts to it, but don't worry, I've still got some more to come. But just let me know in the chat what you think so far. You know, I like try and keep these things interactive, and I like to have a little break for some water as well. So just let me have a look in the chat. Yes, awesome, keep going, loving it, great, right, cool. I'll keep going then, I'll keep going. Right, so time waits for nobody. Say this over and over again, you know, and you know, I touched base on the Tesco bloke before. Poor fella, 70-year-old, still driving his Tesco van, trying to probably live paycheck to paycheck. He ain't got long left, you know, and he's going to probably. And listen, money's not for everybody, success isn't for everybody, but I'd imagine if you're on this webinar right now that you are the type of person that money does make a difference to you. You do want financial freedom. You do want to make a difference in your life. You want more time back with your kids, your families, that sort of stuff. So, you know, for me, I don't want to be on my deathbed at whatever age I am thinking, oh, I could have achieved more. Oh, I can't believe I've worked all my life and done absolutely nothing. I've got 2 days off a week for the whole of my life. You know, I just, that doesn't sit well with me, never has. So, you know, time waits for nobody. Great quote this by Zig Ziglar. If you've been following me on any of my stuff, you'll notice I use it a lot. You don't have to be great to start. I was terrible, but you do have to start to be great, you know. So, and with regards to, you know, the disposable income factor and investing in yourself, I want to tie this in a bit here. Money replenishes itself every 30 days, especially if you're in a job. So if you're in a job, you're going to get a paycheck today, you're going to go to work, and in 30 days time, that money's going to replenish itself. So let's just say 2 grand, for example, another 30 days, you can get another 2 grand. Okay. And then another 30 days, you can get another 2 grand. So if you were to spend, let's just say you tightened your belt up for a couple of months and you managed to get an extra 500 quid out of that 2 grand, and you spent it on yourself, you invested in yourself, and you doubled down on your education, and that money got you a lot further forward than your Pizza Expresses and your movies and your Sky TVs and everything else that we quite happily spend money on without even questioning it. Yet when we go to invest in ourselves, we doubt ourselves, we question it, we think, is this going to work, you know, is this a waste of money? But we've no problem going to the pub and paying £6 for a pint, you know, that's a waste of money, you know. So it replenishes itself. So even if you spent that money, in 30 days time, that money's going to replenish itself. You know, in 30 days time, that money's going to replenish itself. You can always make more money if you know how. You know, money's not a big thing if you know how to make it. So it always replenishes itself, or you'll always find more. So money follows attention. So if you get attention, you're going to get some money. So, you know, but you haven't got time to you can't buy time. So your money can replenish itself, but you can't go and ask for another 30 days or another year because, you know, time's tick by, you know. I mean, when I wrote these 2017, you know, 3 years ago, you know, where's that time gone? You know, like it feels like yesterday when I picked these up, you know, and I was looking back and reading through it. Honestly, it feels like yesterday when I was sat, you know, I can remember when I was sat writing those things. It feels like now 3 years, you know, in another 3 years, you know, I'm going to be further down the line. Before I know it, it's going to be like another 20 years, you know, and time waits for no one. I cannot replenish that time. So you've got to start and you've got to invest in your time. Now you can either do it the hard way and learn everything in like bits and bobs, dribs and drabs around jobs, or you can just get help, know what you're doing and get focused and just accelerate your results, you know. And for me, if I had my time again, that's exactly what I would do. And, you know, I'd be in a much greater position than I am now. You know, so have a think about that. You know, it's a game changer when you start thinking about the way you treat yourself, the way that you don't invest in yourself when you should be, the way that you waste money on certain things. But always remember, money replenishes itself. So even if you spend something today and it's not the right thing, at least you're going to get it back. 30 days time, you're going to get a top up. And even if you've got no job, the government's going to top you up for you, you know? So the government's going to top you up, you know? 30 days time, you're going to get your top up, you know? So it always replenishes itself, you know? And that's never going to stop. So, you know, you're always going to find work and you're always going to be in jobs and you're always going to be able to replenish yourself. So, but you're never going to have the time to do this. You're never going to have the time to wind the clock back and say, I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd got into property. I wish I'd tried a bit harder there. I wish I took action there. You know, you're not going to be able to wind the clock back and do that, but you can change your direction going forward. Skill sets required. I get asked this all the time. Now, I think there's these 4 fundamental skill sets in property. And property is a business, right? And for me, it's a people's game. So sales and negotiation is it's an absolute must. And if you're not very good at sales and negotiation, these are skill sets that can be learned. So you don't have to, you know, be born with sales and negotiation skills. You know, I don't even know whether you are or not. I guess you just, it's a people's game. So you gotta be confident. You've got to understand how sales and negotiation work. Now there are certain skill sets, certain words, certain ways, certain follow-up strategies, certain negotiation techniques, which again can all be learned. And there's plenty of books out there. There's plenty of education on things like that. If you don't feel like you've got that skill set, you need to double down. You need to learn that skill set because that is required to get you into the property game and scale fast. Confidence is another thing. You've got to be confident and you've got to have an appetite for risk. If you're like so risk averse that you cannot pull the trigger, maybe property's not for you unless you can get over that. But I do think if you can build on your confidence, which probably comes with either experience or working with people that have experience or surrounding yourself with people that you can bounce ideas off that you know are going to give you the confidence, then that sometimes helps increase the risk. And you know, well, not increase your appetite for risk is what I'm trying to say. You know, some people are so risk averse because they're not confident and they don't think it's going to work. They always analyze what if goes wrong, you know, rather than what if it goes right. But the more confident you get a bit more appetite for risk. Now on the same side, you can be too confident, you can be too cocky, and you might take something on that you shouldn't. So there's a fine balance there. And I also think numbers and software. Now, I am a bit of a spreadsheet geek behind the scenes. I do everything through numbers. I run my business on numbers. I think you can run any business on numbers. And I think, you know, numbers tell a lot of stories and a lot of statistics, data, leverages, levers, you know, whatever you want to call it, and point in the right direction. Every day, my team from all the different departments have to send me a report. Now, that report is a certain element and a number. I then put those numbers into my master report, and that tells me how the business is operating. And I can tell from those numbers, whether it be on the tenant arrears number, whether it's on how many rooms or houses we've got not for let, whether it's on how many guest cancellations we've had, what the value of bookings has been, how many properties we've got in our acquisition pipeline, whatever the numbers is. I've probably got about 16 to 20 across the whole company. including bank balances and things like that, daily take-ins, all that sort of stuff. I know from those numbers how the business is operating, and I know where to divert my attention if I can see an area that needs help. And that's just purely from getting numbers. I don't even really need to speak to anybody to understand that. I just need to look at those digits, those metrics. But by understanding your numbers of your business, every single day, I have a spreadsheet that shows me every transaction in the business. It then filters into various sections against each property, so I know how every single property in the business or every single room is operating, and I can again take action depending on where the numbers are. So I'm a huge believer that you need to understand numbers, that you need to get your head around numbers. I speak to some people who have maybe 2, 3, 4 properties up and running already, and they don't even track their numbers. They don't know what their booking values are. They don't know how much their properties are making. They literally just log into their bank account every now and then and have a look, and that tells them whether it's good or bad. For me, that's just reactive. And if you're proactive, you'll make some good steps. If you're reactive, you'll never get anywhere. So, or you'll not never get anywhere, but you'll not scale as quick because you just can't. You don't know what's good. You don't know what's right. How can you know which property's operating? By me knowing which properties work well, I know that that's a good area, a good size bedroom size, and therefore I'm going to go and attack for more of them. If I see a property that's not working so well, I might say, okay, well, that area doesn't work, or that size property in that area doesn't work, so I'm going to stay away from them. So again, it just helps tweak your business and get it better and better. Now, software development, don't get overwhelmed by this. I am I'm good with technology, I'm good with computers, and I've taught myself these skill sets, I've taught myself how to do it. I've taught myself how to link API feeds together, how to link certain softwares together, how to make one software talk to another software. And these are skill sets that can be learned, by the way. You don't have to have a degree in computer science or anything like that. But when you understand how to link these together, you can have softwares run your business rather than staff. I have staff, obviously, but I don't have probably half as many as most people would think, because I have a lot of systems and softwares in place instead. And for me, they are more reliable. They turn up to work every day. They don't take holidays. They don't go off sick. And bar a tiny little bug every now and then, they're pretty robust. So I prefer to run software where I can first, and I'll link them together to try and make the business as efficient as possible. And I'm always trying to automate stuff, and that means I can also run the business from my mobile phone anywhere in the world, whenever I want, for however long. And that for me is freedom. That for me is being able to tick the box of true entrepreneur freedom, which I'm sure most of you is one as well. So if you haven't got those sets, double down on them. Everything we're talking about here today gives you time and freedom. Serviced accommodation, the money, the how you set your business up, how you become efficient, how you work on the business, not in the business. It all creates time and freedom, so you can do what you want with your family whenever you want, give them what you want, and see a lot of happy faces all day, every day, which I'm sure is a position that you want to be in most of your life. I look back to some of these goals: happy, successful family. It's always a goal of mine to to support my family. And every single day I'm writing stuff in here. Kids can have anything they want. Buy a home in Jesmond for Rachel. I've just moved to Jesmond, so I've just moved, and we bought, a lovely home, and that was a goal of mine in 2017. I think that one was, so get your goals, set them, and you will achieve them. But you need the focused action to get there. So, SA gives you time and freedom done correctly. Right, so I just want to touch base on, I have a proven 12-week formula. So the 12-week formula is a step-by-step guide that we go through. It's using the exact same strategies that I've implemented, I've managed to build my service accommodation business through. And as you can see from these text messages here, it's also the same strategies that work for other people around all areas of the UK, and they get the same results. They are moving their lives forward. They're getting into property. They're learning things that they never knew before. Every single one of these texts came to me not knowing anything about property. or very little. They might have been on a little course. They might have, watched a couple of webinars. They might have, got a bit of an inkling, but they had no idea where to start. They had no idea really about how serviced accommodation works, and they're absolutely blowing their portfolios up and changing their lives on a daily basis. So it's incredible to see that, and it makes me feel hugely proud that I've been able to help them. If I could have helped the 70-year-old Tesco's guy downstairs 30 years ago, or even now if he wanted it, I would love to be able to turn his life around, and give him a happy ending and make sure that he, can enjoy the next 20 years of his life, hopefully if he's on his plan for that long, rather than having to go and take Tesco's deliveries to your doorstep at 70-year-olds, So think about it, it's proven. So who has it worked for? I get all the time, will it work for me? George was my plumber, and obviously he was going through a few of my properties, and at the beginning I kind of bounced through different tradesmen and didn't really have a set pattern, didn't really have a power team, another mistake, and I was just using anybody, just ringing, but then I started to realize that, I needed a set team, so I started finding good people, and George for me just asked one day, like, how do you do it? Obviously you'll get me to do all these CP12s, you've got a few properties, obviously you're quite young, how do you do it? And I just like, I'll teach you if you want, and I'll show you exactly. And he's like, yeah, please. And so I did, and he's on his way now he's got a portfolio, he's continuing to build his portfolio, and he's had an extra cash flow and a different revenue stream into his life. Zach, 22-year-old mechanic, on the right here, he's not the one giving the V's, the other one. And, superb lad. He took a chance. He doubled down on his efforts, and he got 4 HMOs set up in 8 weeks? 8 weeks. I think his net cash flow is about 3,800 quid a month. His mechanic job will not pay him that. So I will put a bet that this young man will be retired by 30, because he knows what he's doing now. He's got a thirst for it. He's built great relationships with some estate agents, which is how he's moved forward. He's working direct with landlords. He sets the properties up great, and he takes on board everything you tell him, and he just takes action, and he's changed his life at 22-year-old. I wish I got into property at 22-year-old, to tell you that much. And, I think that there's big things for Zach ahead. I can't wait to see how his journey plays out. Billy and Michelle, they're sort of handy people, doing the rounds, grafting the 9 to 5, chasing jobs all the time. And, again, came on board, had a bit of an inkling about SAs. They picked up 5 serviced accommodation units in the first 2 weeks on the program. They rang me sort of, do I take them all on? And I was like, well, do they all work? So we analysed them, and yeah, they do. So why not? So I think they were overwhelmed by the response, and as you would be, I think, people just think it's one, and you build slowly, and, might get one deal by 3 months. But 5 in 2 weeks, absolutely amazing. Just going out, taking action, following the right direction. And they're obviously going to be on to bigger and better things over the next 12 months. And again, excited to see that journey. So this works for everybody. The property game works for everybody. You do not have to be a certain, IQ level. You don't have to have a certain skill set. It works for everybody. You've just got to know what to do at the right time, how to speak to people, how to build relationships, and then ultimately how to operate. And you put it all together. It's not that complicated. It doesn't take that much time, and you can start to scale a very, very profitable business. So you've got 2 options right now. You can find the free information, you can troll the internet, you can listen to books and the podcast, you can attend free courses and make costly mistakes. I've done it, I've been there. It's not quick, it's not quick. Or it requires a little higher investment, but in exchange, you're going to get an accelerated results. We touched base on this before. Money replenishes itself. You can't ever replenish time, but if you invest in yourself, rich dad, poor dad sort of mentality, buy assets, don't buy liabilities, then, you will accelerate your results, and you'll get more from it, and you've got to treat yourself as an asset. You are your most valuable asset. I see it time and time again, people, chucking, I'm not a personal trainer by any stretch of my imagination, but, people will throw so much bad stuff into their body, with no regard to it at all. Yet if your body stops working, that's it, game over. Your body is your most valuable asset that you've got. Yet people treat it like it's just, well, it's just not worthy, you know. And I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself. I'm not saying don't eat bad things, but your health and your fitness plays a huge part in this as well, you know. So, but as the old saying, you wouldn't put diesel in a petrol car, and it's the same, But you're an asset. Treat yourself as an asset. You mind your body, you're an asset. You got to look after it that way. If I give you 100 grand to look after as an asset, you would look after it. Your body is an asset and your mind's an asset as well. So you got to make that decision, make the right decision. Now, don't just take my word for it. I'm going to show you a few videos here now, and I'm going to have another drink. And whilst I do that, I just want you to watch these videos and just hear what other people think and how they've moved their journey forward. And, hopefully you can see that by just taking a bit of focused action in the right direction, it will work for you as well.
We've acquired 3 HMOs at the moment, all rent-to-rents. 2 fairly big ones as well, and one slightly smaller one we started with. 2 out of 3 are fully tenanted, and the third one's just completed its refurb as we speak, which we're just trying to get tenants in now, really. All I can say to people that are sitting on the fence about property investing, just do it. The longer you wait, the worse you're going to be. I wish I procrastinated for about a year before I even started, and in 3 months I got myself 3 deals. The most important thing I can recommend: get some training, get some education. I've spent thousands and thousands of pounds on my education. I've got mentors that teach me all, that are good at everything. I choose to pick their strengths to enhance my weaknesses, and that's something that you really need to focus on if you're going to succeed in this industry.
Hello, just a little video testimonial. I am on the serviced accommodation mentorship that Ryan Luke provides. It's been about 3-4 weeks now. There's the key to the first deal, which will be live very soon in the next few days, with 2 more deals on the table. So massive thank you to Ryan for the help, support, guidance, knowledge, information. Without you, this wouldn't have been possible. If you are sitting on the fence wondering whether to spend the money on the course, proof's in the pudding. First deal within the first 4 weeks.
Hi, I'm David. I've been through Ryan's serviced accommodation course over the last year, and I can't recommend the course highly enough. I used to have a lot of single buy-to-let houses that I've now converted into SA units through Ryan's help, and what Ryan doesn't know about SA is not worth knowing. He's the go-to guy for SA in our area, and yeah, without him I wouldn't be in the position I am now.
My name's Nick. I've been part of Ryan's mentorship program now for probably about 3 to 4 months or so. All in all, it's been absolutely superb. He really sort of takes the time to understand exactly what we're trying to achieve, and he tailors each conversation that we have with him to try and help us achieve that. And a couple of property courses and different mentorship programs and things like that. And in all honesty, I think Ryan's is probably the best one that we've done, purely because of the support that he gives you.
Basically, I was looking for a mentor for a long period of time, did a lot of training, different various courses, but just couldn't find anyone that I could get the information I needed from that was clear enough and that was easy and straightforward. So I'll give Ryan a call. We had a telephone conversation, we found out where I was at, what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, and then basically we just started putting those plans in place day by day steps, and we're now looking at closing 2 of our first deals for rent to rents, so I'm quite happy with that. So if you do need to get into property and you need a mentor, I can only recommend Ryan Luke from Luke Homes. He's absolutely fantastic.
Okay, so hopefully you can see from everyone there that you know, there's method in the madness, and you know, by doubling down on yourself and taking the right action, you can really achieve some superb results. Now, coming on the omnipresent, I've touched base on this throughout the presentation, and I've spent over 20 grand on marketing, mentorships and courses. You know, I touched base earlier, probably 40 grand in total, including all of the mentorships and bits and bobs. But I focusing on the marketing side of things, I always knew that I've always been into marketing. I've always been into lead generation. I always think if you can generate leads on tap, you're going to have a successful business. You know, if you can get people into your pipeline, if you can get flows into your pipeline, you're going to have a successful business. So that's why I was constantly focused on marketing, and everything that I've learned goes into everything that I give in my programs. And you know, these are just a screenshot of some of the adverts. They're not amazing, but they get results. You know, and it's also not just about this ad, it's about the copy that's written in the ads, how you present them, the value that you offer. Now, don't get me wrong, these are pictures. These are straight up pictures, you know, probably apart from the Explore Newcastle one, but these are straight up pictures. But it's how you present yourself online. It's how you market yourself. It's the message that you're delivering. It's the value proposition that you're offering. It's how often you're doing it. You know, you've got to get yourself out there. As your journey grows, you're going to want to work with investors. You're going to want to get invested finance. You're going to, you know, it doesn't matter how much money you've got. You can't buy all the property in the world, and you will run out of money. You have to go and get investor money at some point in your property journey if you want to scale quickly. So, you know, we go on how you create that profile and that omnipresence to make sure that whenever anybody is on social, let's be honest about it, you're here today because I have been omnipresent on social media. Like you know, we've probably never met in person. We might not have even spoken before, you know, or even had a text conversation before, but you will have seen me in a group, on a message, on your feed, on an Instagram post or something like that. In fact, drop in the chat who came here today because they saw me somewhere. Yes, Facebook, Instagram, Messenger feed, Facebook groups, your group. Okay, great. That's why you spend money on marketing. That's why you double down on your marketing efforts, because attention, money follows attention. So you got to go and get yourself some attention, you know. So if the one thing you do at the end of this is, you know, just go and get yourself some attention. Just go and post on your Facebook profile 5 times for the next 30 days, every day. Just post something, anything, add value, post pictures, you know, and you know, it's you'll get your people start to reach up, prop up, you know. I've got friends I went to school with that I've never spoken to since I went to school. Ring me up now. How can I get involved? I've got some money. Can you help me invest? You know, I haven't spoken to them for 16 years or 18 years, you know, but, you know, they see me, you know, I'm omnipresent. They know what I'm doing, you know, and Facebook also only delivers. So I've got 5,000 connections on my Facebook profile. Every time I do a post, I do not get a reach of 5,000 people. Facebook's a paid platform. They want you to pay to get your way. So, you know, I might get a maximum 5% reach on every single post. So, you know, if I'm hitting your inboxes, you know, you're one of the 5%. So I have to try and get the other 95% by posting more and more and more, you know, and doing other different tactics and things like that. So, you know, it's not just a case of building a following and sticking a post out, you know, it's about understanding how all the different platforms work as well. You know, and it just, marketing for me is an absolute key. So, you know, if one thing you take from this today is market yourself, you know, market your business, market yourself, and that'll help you grow your portfolio. Now, I'm going to touch base on it here. Obviously, you know, here is my pitch. My mentorship is £3,000 for 3 months. And, you know, this is what you get if you want to work with me. I only take on a handful of mentees each month because I want to deliver the support that you need. And I want to also still, you know, be able to run my business and that as well. So, you know, I think it's unfair to take any more on. So I only take a handful on each month. You get one round the clock support. You don't get a limited number of calls like some people offer. You get my phone number, my WhatsApp, and you can call me or WhatsApp me any time of day. And 9 times out of 10, I will get back to you within a minute. But definitely within half an hour, you know. And that's one thing that I think if you spoke to anybody that's worked with me will sing my praises on that. My support is second to none. It's world class. You get lifetime access to my on-demand training academy. There's over 50 hours of content in there. Whilst we're talking about serviced accommodation today, if you join the program, you also get access to lease options, HMOs, and buy, refurbish, refinance, which is all in the academy as well. You get access to my deal analyzer, which I don't know whether you've seen it yet, but people used to buy that for £200-300 at the beginning, and still do if they just want to buy it as a soulless product, because it works, it's fantastic, and it keeps you on the right side of the numbers. It makes you invest with numbers and not emotions. You get all my legal agreements, which have cost me over $2,500. Rent to rents, my operations agreement, my guest contracts, absolutely everything. You get all them. Access to my top performers networking pod. So we have a group that's just for the mentees, and we bounce ideas off each other in there. You have an accountability partner, which is one of the biggest things that, you know, if you've got a bit of experience but you're not getting the results you need, it's probably because you're not holding yourself accountable, and you maybe just need that person to push you every single week. Make sure that you're hitting your targets, make sure that you're doing the work that's necessary to get involved. Now, if you haven't read the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, I'd recommend it all day long. 10X. So I thought I was doing enough, and I was scratching my head when I wasn't getting results. And then I read that book, and then I realized I wasn't doing anywhere near enough what I needed to do. But there's also then the downside of reading that book and doing 10X of the wrong stuff, which is just going to take up more of your time and get you no results, and probably like blow your brain even further. So you need to make sure you're 10Xing on focused activity that gets results. But when you do that, it's a game changer. Proven systems and processes. So obviously I've got all them for every single avenue of the business, how to link systems together, how to piece the whole of the business together, make sure you can run it from your mobile phone, all that sort of stuff. You get all that. You get access to my marketing team, my virtual assistants, and my guest handlers, so you can double down on them if you need to use them. You get access to my power team, mortgage broker, solicitor, accountant, building and maintenance, cleaners and linen, whatever you need. If it's in my business, you get it, and that's what you get working with me. £3,000 for 12 weeks of intense work, and I guarantee you, you will get results. Now, if all this did was create one deal worth £700 a month, would it be worth it? Answers in the chat, please. Of course, yes, no brainer. Wow, loving this. Yeah, okay, right, cool. If all it did was give you more time back, create business efficiencies, would it be worth it? So many of you might be running service accommodation businesses right now. Your head might be battered by guests. You're dealing with hassle. You're dealing with cleaner issues. You're dealing with, the channels, all that sort of stuff. And I've seen so many people give up because the business takes hold of them. When if all my program did was create business efficiencies that gave you more time back, would it be worth it? Answers in the chat, please. Yes, I know all about that. Please help. Right, yeah, I've been there. I've done it. I hated it. I built my portfolio to a point where I wanted to stop the whole thing because I couldn't create the business efficiencies, and then I figured it out. And so many times I speak to people who've maybe got 2 or 3 essays on the go already, and they kind of kick forward because they're dragged into the operations, and all it takes is a bit of help from me. I just point them in the right direction. We set up some softwares, I give them my proven structure, and boom, they're back on the acquisition trail, and the business takes off again. And as you've said in the chat there, if all it did was that, it would be worth it. If all it did was create an advert that generated leads on tap, would it be worth it? Answers in the chat, please. Yes. I love this marketing. Good. Listen, I love marketing. I love marketing. I want to know how to market. Yeah. Yes. Right. Good. Yeah. Honestly, I love marketing, and I think it's a game changer. And not many property businesses, and I'm not even sure many property mentorships or courses or anything actually talk much about marketing. In my academy, there is 12 to 15, maybe even more videos on marketing, Facebook pixels, generating leads, working with landlords, direct to vendor, adverts, how to create them, how to penetrate, how to write good copy. You know, it's all in there. And I will also be doing it one-to-one with you, building it. And you'll also have access to my marketing team if you need them. They can, you know, help you with the ads, all that sort of stuff. So, you know, it's, as you've said, you know, even if it just did those one things, it will be worth it for you.